It feels like every day we hear about businesses and technologies just transforming at warp speed.
It really does.
Just think about how quickly things are changing around us. New tech, new ways of working, new customer demands.
It's a lot to keep up with.
It is. It's exhilarating, sure, but it also begs a crucial question. How do you manage all that change effectively?
Exactly. And that's the core issue.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack the global change management software market.
Yeah.
We've got some incredibly detailed sources here. They lay out sales revenue data from 2021, give us projections for 2025,
And even further out.
and even long-term forecasts stretching out to 2033, complete with compound annual growth rates across major regions and countries. It's quite comprehensive.
And by the end of this deep dive, you, our listener, will have a crystal clear picture of where this market stands now, where it's headed,
Right.
and what some of these fascinating regional differences reveal about the whole global landscape of digital transformation.
Mm.
It's truly a dynamic space, and the insights go far beyond just the raw numbers.
Absolutely. And just to clarify up front, when we talk about change management software, we're looking at a whole suite of tools, right?
That's right. Tools designed to help organizations navigate these really significant shifts.
Yeah, could be anything from implementing entirely new enterprise-wide systems like, say, advanced AI or cloud solutions,
Or even cultural shifts.
to reshaping company culture after a merger, maybe, or even managing major workforce transitions. Big stuff.
It's all about ensuring people, processes, and tech adapt smoothly. That's the goal, really. Keep businesses thriving through change.
Exactly. And the overall growth numbers we're seeing for this market are truly remarkable. It really sets the stage for a robust and continuously expanding sector worldwide.
It certainly does.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Let's start with the total global sales revenue. Back in 2021, the change management software market recorded about $2.44 billion.
Okay, so a solid base.
A solid base. But here's where it gets interesting. By 2025, that's expected to rise significantly to around $3.66 billion.
Quite a jump in just a few years.
And if you look even further out to 2033, the market is forecasted to more than double again, reaching a staggering $8.26 billion.
Wow. Okay, what's really striking about these figures isn't just the sheer scale. I mean, $8 billion is huge,
Right.
but it's that consistent upward trajectory. We're seeing a robust compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of nearly 10.7% globally.
Almost 11%. That's strong.
It really is. This isn't just, incremental growth. It reflects a fundamental shift, I think.
How so?
Well, businesses are realizing that simply having new technology isn't enough anymore.
Right, you need to actually use it effectively.
Precisely. They need dedicated tools to ensure their teams and processes effectively adopt and utilize those changes. That 10.7% CAGR tells us companies are actively investing in managing that human and operational side of transformation. It's becoming critical.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's zoom into North America then. As you'd probably expect, it's a major player.
Always is in tech markets.
Yeah. This region contributed a substantial $858.6 million back in 2021.
Okay.
And that's projected to nearly triple, actually, to $2.78 billion by 2033.
Wow.
That's with a CAGR of about 10.3%, pretty close to the global average.
Still very strong growth.
But the real story emerges, I think, when we look closer at the individual countries within North America.
The variations there are quite telling, aren't they?
They are.
You have the United States, naturally, leading in sheer volume. Its market growing from, $712.6 million in 2021?
Yeah, about that.
Projected over $2.24 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of 10%, which, reflects its mature, vast corporate landscape that's constantly innovating.
Standard story for the U.S. market in a way.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But what really stands out is Canada.
Yes, an even more impressive CAGR, over 12%.
That's significant. It suggests a really rapid acceleration in digital adoption and modernization efforts up there.
Maybe playing catch-up or just hitting a stride.
Could be both. Perhaps Canadian businesses are increasingly competing on a global scale and investing heavily to do so.
Makes sense. And then there's Mexico.
Right. Mexico sees more modest growth, relatively speaking, about 8.4% CAGR.
Still growing, but definitely a different pace.
Yeah, indicating a different speed of digital transformation, potentially influenced by, different industry structures or perhaps the stage of foundational infrastructure development.
Okay, so quite a bit of variation just within North America.
Absolutely.
Turning now to Europe, the market there reached nearly $698 million in 2021.
Okay, a bit smaller than North America
A
initially.
bit smaller, yeah. And it's projected to grow to over $2.2 billion by 2033.
So similar endpoint to the U.S. on its own, roughly.
Roughly, yeah. And the CAGR is solid too, about 10.2%. Again, very close to that global average.
Right.
But Europe, I mean, it offers just a fascinating tapestry of growth rates when you break it down.
It really does. You see countries like France and Switzerland showing strong KCRs over 10.3%.
Suggesting strong investment in business agility there.
Exactly. And then Germany, the economic powerhouse,
Always a big one.
also demonstrates solid growth at nearly 10% CAGR. Consistent.
Okay. And then we see some others that are even higher, right?
Yeah, this really raises an important question, I think. How do different national approaches to digital transformation, maybe even regulations or industry structures, influence these growth rates across Europe?
It must play a big role.
For example, some countries, particularly in Western Europe, have these really well-established digital infrastructures already.
Right, they might be optimizing.
Exactly. Maybe focusing on optimizing existing systems, which leads to steady but perhaps not explosive growth, like the UK at 9.4% or Sweden around 9.6%. Still good, but
But then you look at Italy and Russia.
yes. Italy with a CGR over 10.7% and Russia even higher at 11.2%.
That's quite a difference.
It suggests they might be in a more accelerated phase of modernization,
Mm.
maybe catching up to or even leapfrogging older systems in some areas.
Driving higher demand for these software solutions.
Precisely.
Huh.
And you see strong growth in Spain, too, over 11%. Denmark, Switzerland, Luxembourg, all showing solid numbers between 9 and 10.5%.
Even the rest of Europe category is growing at almost 9%.
So it's a diverse picture, absolutely,
Mhm.
reflecting varied economic priorities, different stages of digital maturity across the continent. Fascinating stuff.
Definitely. Okay, shifting gears now, heading east. The Asia-Pacific region. This is among the fastest growing globally.
Yeah, this is where we often see some really high numbers.
For sure. Its revenue jumped from around $583 million in 2021,
Okay,
projected to hit over $2.15 billion by 2033.
another big leap.
And the overall CAGR for APAC, a very solid 11.5%, noticeably above the global average.
Right. And while China and Japan are, of course, significant contributors.
Huge markets. China's market set to more than triple to over $717 million by 2033, with a strong 11.2% CGGR.
And Japan also showing healthy growth, nearly 10.8%.
Yeah, but the variety across the rest of the region is really compelling.
It is. What's truly fascinating here is the sheer dynamism, especially India's standout growth.
India's number is incredible. It boasts the highest CGHR in the region, maybe globally, over
Nice.
13.4%.
It's right up there. And revenue projected to skyrocket from about $91 million in 2021 to over $412 million by 2033.
What's driving that, do the sources say?
Yeah, our sources suggest it's not just organic growth. It seems fueled by this potent combination of factors.
Like what?
Well, robust government-backed digital initiatives like Digital India,
Oh, okay.
a rapidly expanding tech-savvy workforce, and a burgeoning startup ecosystem. Companies there are just investing heavily in streamlining their operations as they scale up at an unprecedented pace.
Makes sense. They need the tools to manage that explosive growth.
Absolutely. And similarly, you see Australia,
Right, over 12%.
Singapore, even higher at 12.3%. Taiwan also strong at 11.7%.
Southeast Asia as a whole looking good too, almost 11%.
It all reflects significant digital transformation efforts as these economies continue to integrate and expand globally. The rest of APAC is slower, around 7.3%, but overall the region is just buzzing.
A real engine of growth for this market.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to South America.
Right.
The region here shows robust growth as well, climbing from $134 million in 2021 to nearly $487 million projected by 2033.
Okay, smaller base, but still strong growth.
Very strong. The TGAGR is over 11.3%, again above the global average.
Hmm.
Brazil, being the economic engine of the region, naturally leads with a CAR of nearly 11.4%.
Right, but it's the consistent double-digit growth across several South American nations that really highlights this growing imperative for change management in developing markets.
Yeah, look at Argentina.
Argentina's got a notably high SKGR, almost 12.4%.
And Colombia is close behind at nearly 12%, Peru over 11, Chile nearly 11.
It suggests businesses there are actively pursuing modernization. adapting to new global trade dynamics, maybe seeking greater operational efficiency.
It's a clear signal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a clear signal that companies in this region recognize the value of structured change to remain competitive on the world stage.
Okay. Moving on to the Middle East. This market shows a particularly high overall CAGR, almost 11.9%.
Even higher than South America and APAC overall.
Yeah. It grew from about $73 million in 2021, projected to hit over $280 million by 2033.
What's really significant here, I think, is the consistent high growth across the Middle East. Several countries are exceeding 12% CGRs.
Like Qatar.
Qatar at 12.45%,
Oh.
Turkey over 12%.
And especially the UAE, leading the pack.
The UAE leads with a 12.5% CEGR. It's very strong.
So what's behind that?
Well, it strongly suggests massive investment, both government and private sector, in infrastructure and these large-scale digital transformation projects.
Often linked to economic diversification efforts, right?
Yeah.
Moving away from just oil.
Exactly. Countries like Saudi Arabia, growing at nearly 11.9%, they're pushing forward with these ambitious national visions like Vision 2030.
And those require huge shifts.
Fundamental organizational and technological shifts, making change management software basically indispensable for them. Egypt also shows strong growth, over 11.5%.
Seems like a region really focused on transformation right now.
Very much so.
Okay, lastly, let's look at Africa.
All right.
Here, the market for change management software has increased from about $92.6 million in 2021.
Okay, similar starting point to the Middle East, roughly.
Roughly, yeah. Projected to reach nearly $318 million by 2033.
So, also significant growth.
And it represents a solid CAGR overall of over 10.6%. Right around that global average again.
Interesting.
Breaking down the numbers, both Nigeria and South Africa seem to be key drivers here, showing impressive growth rates. Nigeria around 10.3% CAGR,
Okay.
and South Africa slightly higher at 11.1%.
And that raises an important question, doesn't it? How do those foundational elements, things like digital infrastructure, internet penetration, access to technology, maybe even a tech-savvy workforce.
How do those contribute?
Yeah, how do they contribute to the varying growth rates we're seeing across different African nations? South Africa, for instance, showing that slightly higher CAGR than Nigeria.
Could indicate differences in their stages of digital maturity.
Could be. Or maybe the presence of specific industry sectors that are driving adoption of these more sophisticated tools.
The rest of Africa is also growing well, over 10.4%.
It's clear that as those foundational elements strengthen across the continent, so too does the opportunity for change management software adoption. There's a lot of potential there.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered the globe.
We have. So what does all this mean for you, the listener? I think the overarching theme of this deep dive is pretty clear.
Which is?
The global change management software market is really characterized by consistent and, frankly, significant growth. This isn't just a fleeting trend.
No.
It seems driven by rising demand and this pervasive wave of digital transformation that's just sweeping across every continent, from the mature markets like the US and Germany to rapidly developing economies like India and Brazil.
Absolutely. We've seen some truly impressive numbers. I mean, the entire global market more than tripling to over $8 billion by 2033.
It's huge.
To those standout KGRs we saw in countries like India, Canada, Argentina, Qatar, the UAE, it really highlights just how critical these tools for managing organizational change have become.
They're essential now.
For businesses worldwide, yeah, as they navigate this increasingly complex and, well, dynamic environment.
And as you reflect on this, it's worth considering what specific changes these software solutions are actually helping manage in these different industries and regions.
Good point. Is it always about tech?
It's primarily about adopting cutting-edge technologies like, advanced AI or robotics, or is it more focused on shifting entire work models? Yeah. Maybe to fully remote or hybrid setups.
Or maybe responding to big market disruptions.
Exactly. Responding to disruptions that demand a complete pivot in strategy, requiring these agile and rapid transformations. It could be any or all of those.
And maybe as a final provocative thought for everyone listening, what might be the next frontier for change management software?
Ooh, good question.
Given the current, dizzying pace of innovation and global shifts, think about the rise of personalized AI agents everywhere or the increasing complexity of cybersecurity threats.
Constant change.
What kind of changes will require even more sophisticated solutions in the years to come?
Will it be about managing I don't know, the emotional intelligence aspects of AI integrations.
Or maybe even the psychological impact of constant, accelerated change on the human workforce itself. That feels like a big one.
It really does. Lots to think about there.
Definitely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of the change management software market.
It's been great exploring it.
We encourage you to keep exploring these crucial market trends. Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're really digging into the change management software market.
Yeah, it's a fascinating space.
It really is. This isn't just some, niche corner of tech. It's incredibly dynamic, evolving super fast.
Absolutely. It's being pushed forward by some powerful forces, but uh, also navigating some pretty significant hurdles.
So true. And we're drawing insights today from a comprehensive analysis by cognitive market research.
That's right. Our mission really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge for you.
We want to uncover the key market drivers, those notable restraints, and maybe the exciting new trends shaping the future of this software globally.
Exactly. Think of this as your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed on the topic.
Okay, so let's kick things off. What's really fueling this fire? Where should we start?
I think the big one has to be the increasing demand for automated IT resource management.
Right. Because doing it manually just doesn't scale, does it?
Not at all. When businesses grow, their digital ecosystems get so intricate. Trying to manage changes manually, it's not just inefficient.
It actually turns growth into chaos almost. Masks dependencies, multiplies risk.
That's it, exactly. It masks dependencies and just multiplies risk. So organizations are absolutely turning to automated change management software.
And why is that such a fundamental shift?
Well, it fundamentally shifts the very definition of scalability in IT. It streamlines workflows, minimizes errors.
Crucially maintains operational stability, too.
Precisely. And it allows for real-time change implementation, plus significantly enhancing compliance, both internal governance and external regulations.
You mentioned stability. I wonder, though, is there sometimes apprehension with automation? That fear that if something does go wrong, it could go wrong much bigger, much faster.
That's a smart question, and it's a valid concern people raise.
So how do these tools actually mitigate that, rather than just speeding up the process?
The mitigation really comes from the robust auditing and, importantly, rollback capabilities built into these systems.
Okay, rollback.
Yeah, they track every single change, who initiated it, what its impact was. So if an automated change introduces an issue,
You can see it immediately.
you have immediate visibility and, crucially, the ability to revert quickly. That contains the potential damage far more effectively than a manual process ever could.
That makes sense. Can you give an example?
Sure, we've seen great examples, like Netbox Labs, for instance. Back in November 2024, they introduced Netbox Assurance and Netbox Discovery.
Okay.
These products are specifically designed for infrastructure documentation and configuration management. They really showcase how automation, when coupled with that safety net, becomes integral to network stability and operational resilience.
That makes perfect sense. And that ties directly into another massive accelerant for this market, just the sheer pace of technological advancement.
Oh, absolutely.
Digital transformation, it's not just a buzzword we throw around anymore.
No, it's real. And it's demanding agile, intelligent change management solutions. Tools that can genuinely keep pace with how fast IT and business processes are evolving.
And what's revolutionary about today's software in that context?
Well, what's truly different now is how today's change management software is increasingly equipped with AI, machine learning, and cloud-native architectures.
Cloud native. So not just in the cloud.
Right. Cloud-native means these systems can scale on demand, they inherit cloud security features, and they can deploy new features almost instantly.
Which must be huge when you're managing constant change across a global company.
It's revolutionary for that, exactly.
So beyond the maybe flashy features, AI and ML are quietly changing the game here. Are we just talking automating approvals, or is it deeper?
Oh, it's much deeper than just approvals. They're transforming reactive troubleshooting into proactive risk avoidance
Proactive? How
by
do they-
predicting potential conflicts before they occur. So for companies embracing DevOps and agile methodologies, that rapid iterative approach.
Yeah, that constant cycle.
Smart change management platforms are basically non-negotiable now. These advanced systems enable better decision-making, they ensure compliance, and they drastically reduce the risk of downtime.
Making transitions smoother, more effective.
Exactly. smoother and more effective than ever before.
Okay, so beyond the tech and the automation, there's another critical driver, right? Regulatory compliance and risk mitigation.
Huge, absolutely
Yeah.
huge, especially for highly regulated industries. Think healthcare, finance, energy.
So the software helps them stay out of trouble, essentially.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
These solutions are vital for monitoring, documenting, and auditing change activities. They provide the transparency and accountability you absolutely need to meet those stringent, industry-specific compliance standards.
And without them.
Without reliable tools, organizations face significant regulatory penalties, not to mention reputational damage.
Right. So these tools play a crucial role in just keeping things running smoothly while still allowing for, new ideas and growth. Controlled innovation.
Precisely. Safeguarding operational integrity while enabling that controlled innovation.
Now, even with all that powerful momentum, you mentioned hurdles earlier, it's not entirely smooth sailing.
No, definitely not.
This market faces some significant headwinds. What would you say is the biggest restraint we're seeing?
Oh, without a doubt, it's the high cost of investment.
The price tag.
Yeah, we're talking substantial upfront costs. Licensing, integration, training, ongoing support. It adds up.
And that's a real barrier, especially for smaller companies.
A huge deterrent, particularly for small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. They often just don't have that kind of capital readily available.
And it's not just the money, is it?
No. Beyond the financial aspect, the sheer complexity of deployment, and sometimes the time it takes to actually see a return on that investment, that can really discourage companies from even starting down that path.
It's almost ironic, isn't it? Software designed to manage change, facing its own change management challenge internally.
It really is ironic.
Which brings us to another limiting factor: simple resistance to technological adoption.
Yes. Internal pushback. You'd think a tool meant to make things easier would be universally welcomed, but
But change is hard, even adopting change management tools.
exactly. What's the deeper psychology there? Is it just fear of the unknown or something more? I've seen companies spend millions on licenses.
Only for the software to sit on a shelf.
Gather dust, yeah. Because the culture wasn't ready for the shift. Concerns over learning curves, worries about workflow disruptions, just a general fear of the unknown. It often slows down or even blocks implementation entirely,
Change itself is hard to manage.
even with software designed for that exact purpose. It's a real paradox.
And finally, there's another big one, especially with the move to the cloud and SaaS models: data privacy and security concerns.
A significant apprehension and growing. Organizations are, quite rightly, cautious about exposing sensitive logs and operational data.
Understandably so.
Absolutely. Worries around data breaches, unauthorized access, compliance with privacy regulations like GDPR or CCPA, they can severely hinder adoption.
Particularly in those data-sensitive sectors like finance and healthcare again.
Especially there, yes.
Yeah.
The benefits of cloud flexibility are immense, but so are the stakes if that data isn't perfectly secure.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. To a more optimistic note, perhaps, let's talk about some of the key market trends that are really reshaping how organizations approach change management. What's at the forefront?
Well, the big one continues to be the increased adoption of cloud-based solutions. That momentum isn't slowing down.
So companies are actively seeking that flexibility?
They are. Flexibility, scalability, global accessibility. Cloud-based change management software delivers on that promise.
How so, specifically?
It gives you real-time updates, it supports collaboration across distributed teams much more easily, improves version control.
All while keeping things transparent and compliant.
Exactly. Organizations are recognizing that these cloud platforms offer the speed and adaptability needed to navigate constant change, but without sacrificing that crucial stability we talked about.
Makes sense. And beyond the cloud, what else is gaining traction? What other trends are key?
Another really significant trend is the rising adoption of configuration management.
Configuration management. Why is that becoming so central?
Well, as IT infrastructures just get more and more complex, efficiently managing system configurations and updates has become absolutely vital.
And change management tools are stepping up there.
They are. What's fascinating is how these tools are now offering much enhanced visibility and control over these specific configuration changes.
Which helps with.
It supports agile operations, reduces downtime, and it's becoming even more critical as more organizations align their strategies with DevOps practices.
Enabling innovation without chaos, as you said.
That's the goal, yeah. Innovation without the chaos.
And finally, there's a trend that feels maybe a bit softer, but potentially just as important. a growing focus on employee experience and engagement.
Absolute critical.
Mhm.
Modern change management software isn't just about code or infrastructure anymore. It's increasingly about the people who use it who are affected by the change.
How does that manifest in the tools?
Well, modern tools now often include things like intuitive dashboards, built-in communication features, feedback mechanisms.
So features designed to keep people in the loop.
Exactly. To help keep employees informed and, crucially, involved during transition periods. This more human-centric approach really helps reduce that resistance to change we discussed earlier.
Builds trust, maybe.
It builds trust, yes, and helps promote a culture of adaptability overall. It recognizes that the success of any technological change often hinges on how well the people involved actually embrace it.
So let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for the bigger picture, if you had to summarize?
In summary, the change management software market is absolutely poised for sustained growth. No question.
And it's being fueled primarily by that increasing need for automation, significant technological innovation.
And that ever-present demand for regulatory compliance. Those are the core drivers.
Right. And while challenges like the high cost, that resistance to adoption and data security concerns certainly persist.
They do persist, but the market continues to evolve rapidly despite them. Businesses are increasingly turning to these intelligent, agile, and, importantly, employee-focused tools.
And this shift, it feels like it's truly transforming how change itself is viewed.
It really is.
Change, which was maybe once seen purely as a disruptive force, is now increasingly being seen as a strategic advantage, enabled by these very tools.
A controlled strategic advantage.
So that leaves us with a final provocative thought for you, our listeners. Given this shift, how might the principles of strategic, people-centric change management be applied, not just to IT, but maybe to broader organizational transformations?
Or even perhaps personal life, turning any disruption, big or small, into an opportunity for controlled innovation.
Something to ponder.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in to this deep dive.